How's it going, everybody? It's Frisbee Moonsong here. Yow! And today what we are going to be doing is we are going to be continuing our starter series for our channel. Now, if you remember or I think it was last week, or must have been a week before, but we did a starter series for learning how to get into the game, and now we are continuing that. So if you remember, we talked about getting your files, getting your sleeves, getting your deck boxes, everything you need, getting a mat maybe, all the things you need to actually start off your Yu-Gi-Oh journey. Now today, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be looking at some of the other stuff that you need. Now we're going to learn about building your decks and how to do that. Now, first thing we are going to learn about is the 4 different things you need for your deck. But in this video, we are going to be actually giving away that King's Court box. We have 2 of these, remember, so we are going to be giving another one away at the end of the video. And also, we are going to be actually revealing who the winner was of the last King's Court box. So, we'll be seeing to that at the end of this video, but to continue with our video, we are going to be talking about the 4 things you need when building your deck. So what you need to know is, first thing you need is a deck core. Now, the best way to go about it is learning about the different deck cores and the tiers they are at. So there are different tiers of decks. There's meta decks, there's rogue decks, there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. These are the strength of the decks. Some decks are currently stronger than others, so you'll be able to see how each deck works, how each deck plays, and some decks have more of a chance of winning. Obviously, the decks that have more of a chance of winning have a higher cost for building the deck, but you'll obviously learn about that as you start building the decks that you really love. Now, first of all is deck cores. These are your main bread and butter of your decks. These would be considered things like Altergeist, Salamangreat, Yang Zing, because obviously this channel loves Yang Zing. What else? Shadow, or Invoked, or Eldritch, Adamancipator, whichever one you prefer. These are cores for your decks. Now, these are usually things that you can buy and sell. But you can collect them in different ways, which we'll get to in the second part of this video. But yeah, first of all, there are the cores, usually separated by archetypes. Some people mix 4 to 5 archetypes together, even 2. Most people mix 2 or 3, but some people are crazy like that. But a lot of the time, you'll just see one archetype, which is a core in a deck. Now, the second thing are wait, let's go to the draw power. So draw power, these are usually any sorts of cards that can obviously allow you to draw more cards, and these give you consistency in your deck, because consistency is very important to be able to win in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, drawing cards, obviously there's different cards that do that, like Pot of Extravagance, Pot of Greed, Pot of Desires. These are all cards that just say draw more cards, which gives you a lot more advantage in your deck, and these would be considered as draw cards. Now, there's also what you would call engines. So there are some cards that would be considered draw engines. Now, engines usually are a small little package made up to increase the speed of your deck. So for example, in let's say a Yang Zing deck, you could insert a Metal Foes engine into the deck, because Yang Zings, when they are destroyed by card effect, they summon another one from the deck. What Metal Foes do is they destroy cards on your field to set a trap or spell from your deck. So each of them is like an engine to each other. Mostly the Yang Zings are the core for that deck, because you go into synchros and stuff like that, but the Metal Foes are the engine that speed up the Yang Zing archetype in that instance. Now, a deck core and a deck engine can be the same thing, but it depends on how you use it. So you can have a pure Metal Foes deck, then in that case it will be a core, but if you're playing Metal Foe Yang Zing, the Yang Zing is the core and the Metal Foes is the engine that makes the deck speed up faster. There are also draw engines. There is the Fluffle draw engine, really good for fusions as well. They allow you to draw a little bit faster. There's a way that gives you extra draw power, extra advantage. A whole lot of different archetypes that can give you draw advantage, and draw cards also can count as engines, so that's something you can look out for. So far we've got cores, got your draw power, we've got your engines, and last but not least are your staples. These are all consisted of hand traps, traps, and anything that is used to do specific key things like Monster Reborn or Harpy's Feather Duster. Harpy's Feather Duster wiping your opponent's back row is insane. Traps like Torrential Tribute, Compulsory Evacuation, and Solemn Strike are really good staple traps that you can put into almost any deck. Some decks they work better in, some decks they don't. Obviously, it depends on how you want to play it. For example, you won't play as many staple traps in a combo deck as you would in a control deck. Now, the last one is going to be your hand traps. Now your hand traps are usually cards that you can activate during your opponent's turn from your hand, and it allows you to play in what we call turn 0, which is the opponent's very first turn, or the very first turn of the game, because hand traps allow you to discard themselves from their hand to activate effects. Now staples can be shifted between any deck, so staples are really good to build up a collection of, and maybe even keep a staple file for yourself, you know, to actually have over there for cards that you keep and you do not trade, and you can shift them between your different deck cores. So those are things you can look out. A really prominent staple right now is Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs, which is a really amazing card in the current meta, and just in general, ever since its integration, it's been really amazing. So those are the four, I guess you would say, four different types of pieces of a deck to build it. Now there are 3 ways to build your deck. The first way is usually the best way that most people would choose, is you can look for people in the community and find deck cores that they may have or staples and buy it from them. They usually would have an already complete core. You can also use Troll and Toad or TCG Player, as I said before, to check the price of these cards, and you will be able to buy a deck core that's already fully playable from anyone in the community, and I'm sure a lot of people would be willing to help you out. Even here in South Africa, people are really kind and helpful, and there's a lot of people who are selling deck cores. Just look for the one you want and choose it and buy that, because they can already help you out with other stuff. Obviously you might need to collect a couple of staples to fill in the gaps of the deck, and maybe draw power and even monsters in your extra deck, but yes, that is one way that you could do it, and I do recommend it for starting players. Second way to do it is by structure decks. Now where did I put my structure decks? There they are there. Structure decks, if you look over here, structure decks already have a set list of cards that are in them. Sorry, this is so weird. It's got a set list of cards that are in them on the back there. Usually the best way to do it is to buy 3 structure decks, because then you have a playset which is 3 of each card that you need to play, because you want to play the best cards that promote your engine. So your best card, your best searcher, you want to play 3 of them that searches for your main monster to get you to your win condition very quickly. So yes, you want to buy 3 structure decks, and that will actually usually help you build a complete deck by then. You might need to get a couple of staples to fill in the gaps and draw power, obviously, but other than that, structure decks is a really good way to go. I mean, even these have good staples in. These have Harpy's Feather Duster, which is really good, and Forbidden Chalice, so that's pretty awesome, and you can build the deck around these, which is really, really nice. Even some really good structure decks we've had in the past, like Monarch Stormforth, which was the Monarch structure deck. We had the Dinos, which was really good, and we had the Salamangreat, which was an amazing structure deck as well, and a lot of those decks actually were tier 1 when they came out. So those are some decks you can look to building. That's another way you can actually build a deck of yours. And then the last way, and probably the most difficult way, but still a really cool way, because a lot of the cards in here are really awesome, is by buying booster packs from booster sets. Now you can also go look up online at booster sets to see what cards are in them, but you can buy booster packs or booster boxes to try collect cards from a set to build a deck that you want, because there are certain archetypes in this thing. For example, in King's Court, you can build the Knights, which is Queen's Knight, King's Knight, Jack's Knight, Joker's Knight, that sort of archetype, which is really cool. And a lot of sets have multiple archetypes that you can choose from, so you can buy a couple of cards with friends and then trade the ones that you each want. Maybe that's why it helps with actually getting someone else to build with you, because if you guys want two different archetypes from the same set, you can buy the set and then literally when whatever cards he gets of what you want, and you guys just swap them out just like that, which is really cool. But it's a really nice way to get some archetypes. But if you want, you can just buy the singles of people who pull them. But buying booster packs is a lot of fun, and there's nothing more exciting than opening your own booster pack. Now, that's what we have for today. We've got how to build your deck. We've got the 4 different things that your deck consists of. So yeah, that's for you guys to go out there and begin your journey into Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, what we're moving on to today is we were going to do the giveaway, if you remember. Now let me get to that. So if you don't mind over here.
How's it going?
So we have this thing over here of all the people who have who have won this. So you can look over here. We've got yeah, all the people who have entered, and you can look on this piece of paper over here. I've got the names of all the people over here who are entering, and they've got listed numbers of 1 to 11. There were 11 people, so let's click 11 over here, and we can do this. Now let me sort out everything, and we get ready to do the random number generator, and we can see who wins. So we generate the number in 3. This is to win the King's Court box. Remember, this was from last video. So 3, 2, 1. Huh! Who is number 2? Kafir! Kafir, Mr. Kafir, you have won the King's Court box over here. We have Mr. Kafir over there. There we go. Number 2. Congratulations to you, sir. You want the Seal of Orichalcos archetype. That will be really cool, actually, to see what they do with the Seal of Orichalcos archetype. But yes, number 2, Kafir, right over there at the top. I think you guys can see. Congratulations to you, sir. We will be getting this to you as best we can. So, yeah, and now for the second box, you guys will have to tell me what way would you prefer to build your decks. Do you want to build them as buying structure decks? Would you prefer to buy a core from someone? Or do you collect them in singles? Or do you just buy booster boxes or buy packs and hope for the best and pull and see what you get? Because that's also quite fun. I personally love that. But yes, that's what you can do. But yes, congratulations to the winners, and thank you so much, guys, for watching, and good luck to all of those who are starting to come into Yu-Gi-Oh! We want to see more of you. Last but not least, I would like to give a special thanks to Unplug Yourself and Solar Pop for supplying us with these King's Court boxes and all the stuff that we get, even the Egyptian Guard card structure decks. Thank you so much, and we've got a lot more coming your way. So thank you so much to them, and thank you so much all for watching the video. Please get more of your friends to subscribe and join and watch, because the more people we can get into Yu-Gi-Oh, the bigger we can make this thing here in South Africa, which is what I'm trying to do. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and from me, Frisbee Moonsong, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, guys. Yow!